Hi everyone, it's Sue Plumb here to share another scrapbook process video with you. Today's layout that I am sharing was created for the Cocoa Vanilla Studio design team, and yes, that's it. That is the brand new Storyteller collection that is just beginning to ship to retailers now. So this is my very first layout using the Storyteller collection. So I'm just showing you all of the products there. So I've got the papers laid out. I've got the A5 paper stack there, chipboard stickers, accessory stickers, and in my little container there, you can see I've got foam title stickers. I've got the die cut ephemera pack. I've got the floral ephemera pack. I've got wood buttons, puffy stickers, and pocket cards. It's a huge range and it is gorgeous. So if you have not placed an order for this with a retailer already, I suggest you contact your favorite scrapbooking retailer to see if they will be getting this collection in and get an order in ASAP, because this one is going to sell out. There you go. So as I said, this is my first project using this collection, and if you've seen me work with a new collection on any of my previous videos, you'll know that the first cut is the deepest, and it's always hardest to crack out that first layout with a new collection. So given that I was working with the Storyteller collection for this, you can see those photos of my daughter there, and I'll give you a little bit of a backstory on those photos a bit later on. I decided to go with something that was relatively simple. I always just need to bang something out really quickly with a new collection. Otherwise, I sit there, I stare at it too long, I overthink it. I want to use all the things, but simultaneously, I want to use none of the things because I want to just keep them for myself. So it's like ripping off a Band-Aid. You've just got to do it quickly. So here we go. So I decided to do a mixed media layout. So I used some Payne's Grey acrylic paint there and just my brayer just to add a little bit of darkness to the background on this page, because I knew what I was going to do with this one. I thought about it. Yes, I actually thought about it. So I started off with that gorgeous paper there with the painted stripes on it. And the name of that paper is Brighter Days. And you can see that it's got those, painted style overlapping stripes. I cut the 12 by 12 sheet down into about half, and you can see that I have torn down the edges of it just to give it those rough textured edges. And then what I actually did was I cut the red stripe off the top, and I actually trimmed a little bit of the blue as well. And that was simply because I wanted to make the paper shorter to allow a tiny bit of that black paint to show out from behind. Now, the reason I chose to start, well, it's not black. Technically, it's Payne's Grey, so it's a very, very dark grey. The reason I chose to use this dark paint on my background rather than working straight on white cardstock or perhaps another patterned paper was because I wanted to bring in that darkness to help these colours to pop. So you will know that brighter colours, on a dark background, it always helps the colours to stand out. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'll run you back through what I did before this little step. So I decided to do a little bit of paper rolling on this paper here. And what I actually did was I just put a little incision along the lines between those painted stripes in from each edge. So I'd say the size of my incisions would have been somewhere between sort of 1 to 2 centimetres on each side, or for those of you who are not working in metric scale and using inches, they might have been about 1/2 to 1 inch or so. So I had added those little incisions along the painted lines, and then I just used a wooden skewer just to help me roll up the edges. I just wanted to add that little bit of texture to it, and I wanted to have those little rolled edges. So you can see that I am documenting 3 photos of my daughter. I better fill you in on these photos. 3 photos of my daughter for this page. I actually took these photos one day. We were at a shopping centre and we were stopped to have lunch. We were waiting for our lunch to be ready, and she was telling me a story. Now, my daughter is a bit of a talker. I have no idea where she gets it from, but she is a bit of a talker. She does love nothing more than to regale me with stories about her life, her friends, you name it. She loves an audience. She's always loved an audience. And you can see from the look on her face in those photos that she gets very animated when she tells a story. She's full of expression. And I just took these candid shots while she was sitting there telling me a story, and I absolutely love them. They're not staged. They're not posed. They're just candid shots while she was sitting there happily telling me a story. I have no idea what it was about because, frankly, I tune out half the time. But I shot these candid shots and I thought, well, what perfect shots to pair with the Storyteller collection, because those photos were all about her telling me stories. So I printed one 3x4 and the other ones I printed 2x3. Now I just sort of placed them randomly over that paper background. I did want the larger one in the center because that was my sort of feature shot where she was looking at me and sort of smiling and engaging with me. There's another shot there where she was laughing, and there's another one where she was pulling a face. I just tucked them in just to sort of have that vertical type arrangement, given that they were all in portrait style. I wanted to have this very much a vertical style layout. So I've got the painted stripes going across the page, but they're stacked vertically, and I wanted the photos to sort of cascade down the page. So at this point, I've got my pattern paper stuck down. I've got my photos stuck down, and yes, you are correct. Your eyes are not deceiving you. I have not used any frayed gauze in behind these photos because I didn't want to dull the colors down, because I had already decided I wanted to use a color blocking technique. So I didn't want any sort of white gauze interfering with the painted stripes in the background. And I wanted to allow the embellishments to match to the color of the paper that they were next to or on top of. So that's why there is no frayed gauze adding texture on this page. So the first thing that I started with when it came to embellishing this page was I actually started with the cut apart sheet from the 12x12s, which is called Storytime. And I was really drawn to, there's 3 tags on it. So I was really drawn to those 3 tags because, you know, I love tags. And I really wanted to use one of them. You can see layered over the top of those pinks at the top there. So I just cut that out with scissors, punched a hole in it, and I tied some twine on there. So I do have some texture on this page. I also found a little phrase that says memories are made of this was also on that same cut apart sheet. And really, once I'd gotten those ones off, I did cut out, there's the other one, the little flag piece at the bottom that says making me smile, the blue piece that I decided to layer over the blue section of the paper. Now, it was a case after this, I did cut out a number of other things that I didn't end up using because it was very much, when it came to embellishing, fly by the seat of my pants. I had to pick things based on the colour they were so that I could go with this colour blocking technique. And I just had to pick things that would work in the space that I had available. So I've got the phrase at the top there. I've got the tag. I've got that little banner piece at the bottom. And now I am looking for some things to extend out those colour lines that the pattern paper was providing on the page. I wanted it to spill out further across that painted background. Now, I zoomed in on the yellow to start with, simply because so much of that yellow had been covered up by the photos and the way I had placed those photos, that I really wanted to extend that yellow out further on the page. So I found that little round take note die cut in the ephemera pack. And I also pulled out some flowers from the floral ephemera pack in yellow. And you can see that I've just sort of scattered them to the right of where those yellow painted stripes are, just to continue that colour theme across. Now you can see in the centre there, I've also got the green stripes. So I was looking for some green pieces to tuck alongside that. And then down at the bottom, obviously with those blues, I've used blue flowers down there. So yeah, it was all about just continuing that colour theming across my page. And it was also about building just a little bit of dimension, not too much. I didn't really want things really dimensional, but I did use foam tape behind a number of elements, particularly ones that are layered over the top of one another, just to provide those layers of separation and just to give the little pops of dimension on the page. Now, for my title piece, you can see that I have chosen that little speech bubble there that says, I am a storyteller. Now, this had Brielle's name written all over it. She is the storyteller of our family, so I had to use that for my title. I really did. Initially, I wanted to use a bigger title. I thought about using something from the chipboard sticker sheet, or I thought about perhaps using some of the foam title stickers and even altering the color on them. But that little speech bubble and the fact that she was talking to me at the time, it just couldn't have been any more perfect. So, and luckily it fit right in that little space that I had. So I had all of those die cuts in place. I'm now looking around and seeing what space I've got to fill, what little things I could tuck in. I didn't edit too much out of this video at all, so you can actually see how long a process it is for me, where I audition things, I take them away, I put them somewhere else, and yeah, you will see a page doesn't come together often as easily as it may seem in a video. Quite often I get up, I walk away from the table, I have to go out and give my kids a snack, or I have to do something else. Sometimes I have to leave the house. So it's not always as fluid as it appears. So just remember that when you watch my videos, and know that it doesn't happen as easily on my desk that you think it does. Anyway, I digress. Going back, I've also stuck on a couple of little die-cut butterflies from the ephemera pack. The butterflies in this collection are super sweet. They're really quite, I want to say, not childlike. They've got that sort of touch of naivety about them. They're really, really cute. And now I'm going in with what is perhaps one of my favourite items from this collection, which is the puffy stickers. So I stuck some hearts and some little circles and things, and I called that done. Now, it was a challenge for me to know when to walk away from this page, because usually I like to keep sticking, but I called that done. So there you go. Bit of colour blocking. Not too much, not too heavy on the page. It's quite sort of minimalistic in its design, fairly simple, but I've ripped the band-aid off and I'm ready to get stuck into it again. Anyway, that's my video today. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I'd love it if you hit the subscribe button. Thank you again. Bye.